Crypto Spore here. In this video, I'm going to quickly go over the main concepts you need to understand in order to get the idea behind decentralized application games on the blockchain, otherwise known as DAPP games. The main concept behind all of this is blockchain itself, which is essentially what it sounds like. So you have a block of transactions that all go through at the same time, and then another block follows it with another bunch of transactions, and then another block and another block in a chain, all the way back to the initial launching of that blockchain. So that is the ledger. The blockchain itself is the ledger, which is chunked into blocks of transactions. Now, it's all decentralized, so you have all these different nodes that are processing the data. And each of these nodes has the full blockchain, the full ledger, the full record of every single transaction that's ever occurred on that blockchain. It's kind of holographic in that sense, because if you were to, say, destroy half of it, it would still completely function because the full image is in every single node. The first application of blockchain technology was Bitcoin, which is the first cryptocurrency that ever launched. Now, there are plenty of them now, but the main one, the first one, was Bitcoin. So the transportation system and the currency itself were tied together. Now, the next major innovation with blockchain was the smart contracts. So you probably heard of Ethereum. Now, Ethereum was the first main blockchain that introduced smart contracts. Some people referred to it colloquially as programmable money, but it's actually much more than that. You can set certain instructions to execute when certain conditions are met. So let's say, for example, that you could program a smart contract to handle escrow. So you have one party who has money, let's say in the form of cryptocurrency. You have another party that has property, and they wanted to transact. One wants to give the money and the other one wants to give the property, but it's such a large amount. In order to create trust, they have a third party arbitrate, and they can have a smart contract be that third party in a sense. It's just one example of something that you could program into a smart contract. Just to give you an idea, and there's a lot more that you can do. Now, the next major innovation was tokens. Now, these are referred to generally as non-fungible tokens. A token on blockchain is a unit, and it comes as a unit. You can't send half of a token here, half a token there. You have to send an entire token, and you can hold it in your blockchain wallet. Your wallet is what holds all of your assets on the blockchain, including cryptocurrency or tokens. Now, a token, this is where you have the DAPP or DAPP games. They utilize tokens extensively. I think every single DAPP game that I'm currently playing right now utilizes non-fungible tokens in order to facilitate the gaming experience. So let's give one specific example. We have a game called Splinterlands. It's a trading card game, kind of like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or any of these trading card games. Each one of those cards is a token, and you hold that token in your wallet. Let's compare this to Hearthstone. So Hearthstone is an online trading card game, and you can invest money in the game to buy cards to add to your collection in the game. And you can trade the cards between players and such, but ultimately the ownership of those cards is on the server that's controlled and owned by the game producers. So the corporation that produced that game, they actually have ownership of all the assets on that game. And they can shut you out if they want. If you break the rules, or if they don't like you for whatever reason, they decide, you know what, we're going to get rid of this player. And all of your assets on that game that you've collected are gone. But on Splinterlands, let's say the game even just ends. Let's say like the game, the people who were running the game and developing the software for the game and all that, let's say they just stopped supporting it. You still have those tokens in your wallet, and you can sell them. You could create your own game that utilizes those tokens on the blockchain as well. They still exist, and you still have possession of them. So that's one really interesting thing about these DAPP games, is that there's an element of ownership of the assets in the game, the collectibles in the game. So you have another game called Chibi Fighters. You have these little characters called Chibi Fighters, or Chibi Fighters. I don't know how the word chibi or chibi is pronounced, but it's Chibi Fighters, and they're these kind of cute little big-headed fighters and they're generated randomly, and there's a gaming element to it where they can fight, they can go on adventures and things like that. You can have just a collectible game. The first main one was CryptoKitties. So you may have heard of CryptoKitties. It was on the Ethereum blockchain, and you would generate a token that had unique traits of the cat. The cat that you created would have unique traits, and some of the traits were more rare than others. Some of them were more cute than others, some of them were kind of freaky, and some people like freaky stuff. So different people were attracted to different CryptoKitties, and they would buy those CryptoKitties to add to their collection. And different people, there became a marketplace for these tokens that represented these kitties, and then an interface where you could look at the kitty and there'd be a little picture of the cute little cat. And it's just basically a collecting game. What you could do is you could even breed the cats and create generation 2. Actually, it started at Gen 0, I think, and so the next one would be Gen 1, Gen 2, etc. And the further down the generations, the less valuable the collectible was, is kind of how it went. I mean, it still exists. And now there's actually games that you can use the CryptoKitty token in that other game. They can utilize that as an asset from other games. So that's another cool thing too, is you can take a token from a different game and sometimes play with it in a completely separate DAPP game. Because these are assets that you're just owning. Like, you could take a game piece from your board game in the real physical world and use it on a different game, of course, too, right, if you want. Now, this is the kind of thing that you can do in DAPP games now. So it's really cool how they work out. If you wanted to try some of these DAPP games, you might want to download these browser extensions that give you a wallet that you can hold your assets, but it also allows the browser to interact with the blockchain in different ways. So you have MetaMask is a good one for Ethereum. You have Steam Connect for the Steam blockchain. You have Tron Link for the Tron blockchain. And these are ones that I'm personally using, and they're well trusted in the community. If you're interested in actually playing some of these games, I'll put a link down below which has a list of all the different games that I'm currently playing and that I think are cool enough to recommend to you guys. Yeah, maybe I'll see you on there playing the game. Crypto Spore, signing out.